mostly get 4 commons and a rare, occasionally an epic, maybe some golden cards. It seems to be the case that they want to push something fun with at least a Trailblazer, but it's kind of like another golden monkey. What's the most important part to understand about this is it's a 5-cost 5/5 that shuffles into your deck an extra card, delays fatigue for what it's worth, and more importantly, gives you 5 extra cards to play with in your deck that aren't like Prince Malchazar, shuffled into your deck directly to dilute the value of your card draw. It's a 2-drop spell that you play, and it gives you 5 extra tools to play during the game, like an insane Kabbalist Tome. That is the way that I look at this. Is it going to be good? I'm going to guess playable, definitely in some control decks that want to go slower, but is that going to be a staple of some of the aggro mid-range decks? Definitely not. But I could see this be very handy and potentially played in competitive, which, to my dismay, is a possibility. So, next card we've got is Gul'dan Crawler, 2-mana 2/3 beast. The really hungry crab, battle cry, destroy a pirate, and gain +1/+1. So this guy's clearly been made to counter cards like Small Time Buccaneer, Patches, Nizaz's First Mate, Bloodsail Raider, whatever it is the opponent has that is a pirate can die to the Gul'dan Crawler. However, 2-mana 3/4 is very good against pirate decks. However, I am more worried about pirate decks playing this themselves because they can eat up their own pirates to recycle them into a 2-mana 3/4. By that I mean a Totem Golem. Turn 1, Nizaz's First Mate. I have a 1/1 weapon and 2 1/1 pirates. Turn 2 comes around, you haven't killed them because how could you? It's turn 1. I attack with my Patches, I attack with my 1/1 Nizaz's First Mate. I eat up a pirate. I just played a 2-mana 3/4. So that's a potentially dangerous card to print, but it is a beast. Maybe hunters and druids get something crazy to do with this. Maybe it was made to be a hunter answer to the pirate meta where they get enough early game pushes that they can counteract with their own beast synergy when the pirates get a little bit too crazy. But overall, this can be both a good card to counter pirates and both a good card to add to pirate deck. Not usually that amazing, but it's still a vanilla 2/3. Can't complain too much with the body size. It's definitely going to cause some memery to happen in the arena because unlike Hungry Crab, it actually has a competitive stat line. A 2-mana 2/3 is far more viable in arena than a 1-mana 1/2. Even if you occasionally get to eat Murlocs, Gul'dan Crawler tends to be the better card of the two. Next card is probably the most viable card that we saw announced today. I'd say at least might rank up there for control decks, but Tar Creeper is a 3-mana 1/5 with Taunt that has +2 attack during your opponent's turn. Seems pretty good. It is not a Rager, I'm sad to report, but it is a 3-mana 1/5, which will gain 2 attack during the opponent's turn, making it a 3/5 elemental. Does the elemental tag matter? Surely it will for some degrees of synergy. I imagine in Shaman, where elemental should be a pretty big tribal theme, but the general idea here is that you have a defensive taunt that will not be able to push much damage on your turn. So instead of making a 3-mana 3/5 taunt in neutral, they said, let's make it a 3-mana 1/5 that doesn't let you just go crazy as Zoo. If you're a Zoo player and you play this, you're not going to be dealing a tremendous amount of damage. However, you will be able to protect your own minion. So in the Zoo mirror match, it still has some value, but it is not as useful on your own side of the board when you attack with it than when you defend with it. So it is a cheap Senjin, but you can't get any damage dealt with it. So probably will be made up for with the elemental tag in some classes that have spells that synergize or effects that synergize with the elemental tribe. Pretty good card for common, definitely up there in terms of defensive value. Next card is by far the coolest card that they added this time around. Again, I'm biased because I like big buffs, and I cannot lie. 8 mana, set a minion's attack and health to 10. So you can technically debuff something, but the most likely use of this is you take that little Murloc or that little Silver Hand Recruit, and you make it from a 1/1 into a 10/10. A 10/10 is big. A 10/10 is a +9/+9 on a 1/1. So if you have a 1/1 at the end of the game as Paladin, and you're looking for a way to close out the game, how about an 8 mana almost Pyroblast? That is literally a Pyroblast when you get to smash the face with it off of a 1/1. It's pretty crazy to think that they're adding another tool to deal that much damage in one card, but it is a little bit more gimmicky because you can't just do it from the hand. What it does do, though, is it also, unlike Pyroblast, enables value trading. I know that sounds ridiculous, but a 1/1 that becomes a 10/10 on turn 8 is usually big enough that it's going to be able to take something down with it, and possibly 2 things down with it. Is it worth playing? That's another story entirely, but I like the concept of it, and I could see this card being played and constructed in some fringe decks. I don't see why not. It definitely seems like a viable option in some fun decks at the very least. Next card, Legendary. One of the two that we have for class-specific legendaries. So again, keep in mind every class is getting 2 legendaries, a quest, and a minion. In this case, we have Sherazin, Corpse Flower, 4 mana 5/3, 4 rogues, specifically Death Rattle, go dormant, play 4 cards in the turn to revive this minion. So when the card goes dormant, it stays on the board, it takes a spot on the board, it counts as one of your 7 minions, but it cannot be attacked or killed or otherwise interacted with as far as we know. And when you play 4 cards in a turn to revive this guy, he comes back as a 5/3. It does not have charge, so it cannot attack immediately. It does not get to swing in right away, but it is still a 5/3 body that can come back repeatedly. Now the question is, do you ever play this in a deck that plays Miracle Rogue? Do you want a 5/3 that then dies and then you have to commit 4 cards to bring it back? Like, how many times can you realistically reanimate it, right? How can you make it go realistically from dormant to alive in a rogue deck? So one of the easy ways to do that is play a bunch of spells. You know, backstab, cold blood, shenanigans with eviscerate. That's the easy way. The other way that I think is potentially more interesting is bouncing stuff. You know, Youthful Brewmaster onto Youthful Brewmaster, well, that's bounce into bounce into bounce into bounce. Shadowcaster onto Shadowcaster onto Shadowcaster, that bounces, that works out. So there are ways to play 4 cards that aren't just, hey, lose card advantage. I mean, clearly playing Brewmaster is just to revive this, is not a very viable option, but just to say that you can add in bounces into your game plan to add the number of cards you will play in a turn, artificially increase it without necessarily spending cards. And the new gadgets and Ferryman helps with that a little bit. There's another 2/3 that can bounce stuff into your hand as well. So is that something you'll play? Possibly. Depends on how slow the games get. If the games get really, really slow, this might see play. Does N'Zoth bring back a bunch of Sherazins? I don't know. It's an interesting question. If it does, do you just end up with a board filled with Sherazins afterwards? And since you can't play minions, you can't play 4 cards, and they're all forever dormant and never come up, that's possible. We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns about the card, but definitely an interesting card to see in terms of design. I'm glad they toyed around with the concept because it is kind of reanimating cards in other card games. When you have something that's dead, bring it back to life. This is an interesting way to do that. I don't know if 4 cards is the right number. For Sherazin, I feel like 3 cards might have been a bit better, but I'm not about to quibble since this mechanic might be something they expand upon in the near future. So, Sherazin was the rogue card, and the next legendary is a huge Devil Sword. 4 hunters, Swamp King Dread. 7 mana 9/9 beast. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. Okay. So what this does is it's a trap. Okay, it's literally, it reads secret, but it's not really a secret because you reveal it. Do something when your opponent plays a minion. So here's an interesting thought. Blizzard realized that the limitations of their game were largely tied to the fact that you could not interact with your opponent's turn at all ever, period. They know that. It's been a known fact for a long time. It's one of the reasons why competitive play tends to be so linear in some matchups. And Hunter definitely suffered from that. It suffered from its inability, that is, to respond to what the enemy did. Aside from the Hunter decks that played a bunch of secrets, which are nowadays not even viable, the general idea was hunters need a very strong reactive card that lets them take tempo. This is it. It is a 7 mana 9/9 that lets you kill stuff as it comes in. However, the expansion is introducing a new keyword called Adapt, and one of the results you can get from Adapt is Poisonous. You can have a poisonous troop that comes out, or poisonous minion that comes out, and if Swamp King Dread attacks it as it comes out, clearly it's gonna die. So you might lose your Swamp King Dread to a Pit Snake. You might lose your Swamp King Dread to an Emperor Cobra. You will lose your Swamp King Dread to a bunch of stuff, I have no doubt. So now the big question is a 7 mana 9/9 worth including in your deck just to force removal away from your opponent? If you're playing 2 Savannah Highmanes, they have to deal with that already. And you've got Call the Wild for turn 9, and Swamp King Dread can be sprinkled in as a 7 drop. Seems like a pretty solid late game drop if you're not going to be playing Ragnaros. And again, if your turn comes back around and this is not killed, you can just go face. Now, can you play this with Giant Sandworm and get a little bit crazy in terms of your curve and go very top end? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. Maybe the top end beast decks will find a room with some mana cost reduction effects coming in the expansion. We don't know yet what it is that hunters get in terms of questing and what new tools they get to accompany a card like Swamp King Dread. I like the card, I like the concept of it, I like the idea of interacting with your opponent's turn, but I'm not sure it's going to be strong enough to see play by default. But a 7 mana 9/9 is nothing to scoff at. That closes out game faster than you'd think, especially against a deck like Zoo. If you play Swamp King Dread on 7 and all they have to smash into it are some demons that just die, Swamp King Dread kills them all. As they come out, they just blow up. So this is going to require an absurd amount of removal from aggro decks that will have very little to throw into it. And from control decks, well, they probably have answers to this, but do they have answers to this? Plus high mains, plus Call of the Wild, that's another question entirely. So I think this card is viable, and I like what they're doing in terms of design. The idea of exploring design space with the Dormant mechanic, Swamp King Dread interacting with your opponent's turn, I think that is all very cool news for the future of Hearthstone. Now the big question is, what else is in Un'Goro? And that is what I'm waiting to see before I make the final evaluation of the expansion. But in the meantime, may the fun, the luck, and hopefully the hype. Pew.
I must retreat.
We're gonna try and get. Okay. So this costs 2, making this cost 1, which creates another spring. So we replace it. Okay, so do I actually do like this?
She wants to drink with me.
Have her drink with you on stream. Come on.
Yeah. You know what's up.
But if that she gets to your place, dude, you're gonna be passed out.
He buzzes to get in, and I'm just like, don't even answer the phone.
You're gonna turn into Gul'dan. What precious
Hey, Tally Who with the play of the game. Alright, Tally Who gets 200 gold. Alright.
I don't know why am I doing it this way? I killed one person. What the hell?
That's how bad we are. Here we go, Tally Who.
Oh my god.
200 gold for Tally Who. There you go, man. I'll vote for you too. Epic.
Guess how much gold I have.
Epic. 395. The top supporter of 2016 has 395 gold. Because he gives it all away and gambles the rest. Alright, let's leave this group here. Let's G-unit it up. Alright, let's go.
Marrow, going ham. Yeah.
She's gonna tie you to the headboard with that tie. Hey, I'm okay with that, Pugs. I'm okay with
As long
that.
as it's not around the junk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Listen, heroes. The undead shall rise within a mind's shortening.
submit the rarely seen, but often dreamed of, triple Flamewaker play. Okay, here we go. We're gonna draw the other Flamewaker now. Okay, you ready for this? No, that's not gonna work. I need to draw the other one. There was a brief moment there where I thought it was gonna really happen. I should use the torch still. Plus me. Welcome to the Hot Shots, Airtie. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the Twitch Prime love today, my man.
Than your foes.
Glad you're enjoying your stay. Oh shit. Oh, this is last dragon. Could have just dreamed the guy on my board. It's my 3 months tomorrow.
No matter. There are always
Really? It says you're already at 3 months on the sub badge. Okay. They have a lot of really good things though. Worst draw is Mana Rune or like Flamewaker, interestingly. Basically everything other than those are really good. They draw cards or they do damage immediately. What's up, Explosive? Long time no see. Welcome, man. How you doing today? Okay, here we go, baby. Flamewaker was kind of wimpy. That was one of the worst draws, actually. That's fine, that's fine. He didn't kill the mana worm, so... Yeah, Flamewaker missed all his shots.
Their keep has fallen.
No, it's tomorrow. It hasn't given me the option to send a message. Okay. We got the bad message. They have to give the new cards Mega Power Creep to make up for the price increase. Never heard of HC Justin. I feel like he's a fighting player, but I'm not sure. Just my guess, because I don't know the fighting game guys that directly. Okay, come on. Anything good. Anything good. Yes, there we go. Hi, Howform, I'm drunk. Welcome to Debatable. I have also been drinking. I've joined you today for St. Patrick's Day. Several beers deep at this point. No beers left in the fridge. Mix myself a whiskey instead of having St. Patrick's Day happen. Shit. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Reverend.
This land is beyond death.
Card draw minions are good against a rogue. Decent curve. Doing good, guys. I've been drinking with people and been to shows for the last 6 hours. I'm tired and ready to sleep. Yeah, no kidding. You're from Europe, aren't you, Debatable? It's gotta be late there in the EU. Glad you came to join me for a bit. I've saved up 2,400 gold already for the expansion. I'm proud of myself. last person to say PogChamp gets mod. Seems like a good deal. Might have to look into that. Okay. Don't read my comment, they are stupid. Oh, it feels bad. I read your comment. I don't know how to feel, actually. Your comment wasn't that stupid. If you were telling me that, then it clearly wasn't stupid, because you're giving me advice that would be legitimate. Or that comment was dumb and your other ones aren't. So we're at a paradox there. Okay. It's nice to hold me with the 3-3. Punish him for the Phantom Knives a little bit. You ever played any grand strategy games like so do you ever play stream those types of games? I have played those games, yes, I've played a lot of those games. I've been streaming some other games from time to time lately, so just depends what I'm in the mood for the day, really, I guess. However, no immediate plans. I think that maybe with a new release of one, it could be interesting. The most recent Civilization didn't really capture my attention at all, though. It was a lot like the old Civilization, so I couldn't say that one really dragged me into it at all.
Hey, give me that.
Could have been better. Would have been nice to get a spell there with Drake, even just like in missiles.
The ritual begins.
Give me a quest.
I'm gonna be in Toronto in 2 weeks. Last time I went to the old people Castle Loma. What else do tourists do who aren't in their 90s? Well, Marco Polo, you should see the city. The city is good because of like the shops and stuff. I don't know. What are you interested in? The food, the drinking? Maybe you want a guide for that, but just like going out to the different parts of the city and trying a restaurant would be a great way to spend your day. Alternatively, going outside the city and like going to the beach or going camping somewhere. You don't have to travel very far, which is a nice part of being in Canada. Those would be my two recommendations. Let's get him. CN Tower's good too, but it's more like a old person attraction. Toronto Beach. One of the really nice things about going to the Toronto Beach or any of the beaches like around here is that they're freshwater beaches, unlike a lot of the oceans that you get in other places in the world. They're completely freshwater, like big lakes, so it's kind of a different experience for some people. But I don't know where you're from. Beach in Ontario. We have really nice beaches in Ontario. What are you talking about? We're one of the only places in the world you can have like good freshwater beaches. Didn't even realize the button with all my lurking. Love my man. Thank you, Kanazal. Thank you for the 5 months in a row. Only thing is it has to be warm, so you wouldn't want to go to the beach this time of year.
To the hot shots.
Oh god, the subs, I can't keep up. Kanazal, thank you so much for the